welcome to the Summer of Success live event. I'm so excited that you're here. You've probably been counting down the days for you to be a part of this event. I'm so excited to bring you this amazing material over the next couple days together. If you don't know me, my name is Kristen Boss. And if this is your first training with me, I want to say welcome. So glad you're here. You're in for a real treat. If this is your second training, third training, we have done 4 of these trainings. So if you are an OG, I just want to give you an ultra special shout out. Thanks for being here. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, you can find me at The Kristen Boss. I also have a podcast, Purposeful Social Selling, and I also have a book that just released in stores. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you can find your local books. It's called Pivot to Purpose. I'll talk about this more a little bit later. If you haven't already picked it up, you can look for it in your local bookstore. I can see a bunch of comments here, so it's super fun seeing you guys where you're tuning in from, shouting out that you're an OG. I love this. Just a disclaimer, if you hear me like coughing or sniffing just a little bit, I actually got COVID like 4 days ago. I'm recovering. I feel much better. My energy levels are good, but I still have some sniffles, some cough. So if you feel that lingering, if you hear that lingering a little bit, that might be why. So thank you for bearing with me. But hey, I am so glad that I feel better, that I'm ready to deliver this amazing training to you. So listen, I want to prepare you for what the next 2 days are going to be about. And I really want to set the intentions so that you can get the most from this event. You've spent $9 to be here, and I want you to get the most from it. Because here's what I'm going to say. This training alone isn't going to magically, transform your business and make all of your, business dreams come true, but it is going to be a radical tool that has the potential of really changing your business over the summer and preparing you to have a sustainable business all summer long. The reason why I designed this event is I really thought about what social sellers experience in the summer months. And I have heard people say, oh, you know what? That's when my business slows down, or this is when I really want to focus on my kids and I feel like I need to take a step back. And I notice that people tend to put their business in the back burner, or it just happens to just slowly slip and kind of go into the back recesses of their mind. And then typically come Labor Day, everyone's scrambling and saying, oh my gosh, I need to focus on my business. I need to wake it back up. The kids are back in school. I can't believe I neglected my business. And I really wanted to solve for why that happens and how to help you stay in your business during the summer, because I know you want to enjoy your road trips, your family vacations. Maybe you're, going to Disney World or Disneyland for the first time, or maybe you have camping trips and you want to make summer memories. Listen, I think it's important I'm a parent. I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. I'm married. Being present and making memories with my family is of the utmost importance too. And I really wanted to give you an extremely straightforward, approachable, simple event so that you felt that you could stay active in your business this summer without feeling like you had to choose between business and family. It should never be that way. In fact, you've likely joined this business model for flexibility so that you can spend more time with your family and not feel like it's competing with your values. If family is a value for you, if spending time with your kids is something that's important to you, we by no means want it to compete with that. However, if you are not intentional, if you do not have a plan, if you don't know how to work effectively with your business, then what you are going to find yourself saying is, you know what? I feel like I need to pull back and spend time over here, or I feel like this is taking away from living my life. And if you've followed me for any period of time, this is why I talk about sustainability in this business model, because if you feel like your family or your personal values or your life, living your life is on hold for building your business, chances are you're not going to stay with it, because who wants to put their life on hold while building for their future and not feeling like they're living their life? You should feel like you can live your life and enjoy your life while you are building your future, while you are setting yourself up for future success, while you are creating an income. That is why you joined this business model. So I'm going to make a couple of assumptions. For you being here at this event and kind of how I'm going to be talking to you over the next couple days. I am not going to be talking to you or at you as somebody who wants to have this cute little hobby over the summer. I'm going to be speaking to you as somebody who is ready to treat this as a business this summer, who's ready to come at this as a job, but I'm also going to help it be extremely approachable for you so that you don't leave this event feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I'm not cut out for this. I thought I'd be able to do it, but I can't, not with the road trips we have planned, not with, the fact that I don't have childcare, or, I'm picking up a new job, or I'm caring for an elderly parent. I get it. The summertime can feel stressful, but we're going to solve for all of that. So here's what I'm going to say. If you haven't already downloaded the worksheet, it's in the files section of the Facebook group. You can download it. You can print it. I want to just calm you down if you're freaking out and say, I didn't see the workbook. Am I going to be okay? Listen, you're going to get everything you need from this training. You can go back after this training and print it out. I promise you, the best thing you can do is be present with me right now. I know right now you're probably scrambling and thinking, okay, I got to take the notes because I don't want to forget anything. This is what I want to invite you to do, and I've encouraged people to do this every event I've had. I want you to focus on just being present and listening and hearing, because your first time hearing it, you're going to process the information one way and then come back to the replay and take the notes. A lot of the stuff in your worksheet, you're going to actually be doing after the training. You're going to be taking the time. I would encourage you to probably spend 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes later today, schedule some time, and you're going to fill out this plan. Today is all about crafting the plan to set you up for the summer. We're going to be doing this in 2 parts, okay? So you can go into the files section. You can print this out. Don't stress. We are going to have replays up until midnight on June 13th, okay? So some of you who are super brand new to me, I also want to say, there are many ways that you can work with me. This event is a catalyst to change for you. Maybe this is an introduction of my work, of me as a coach, and you getting to know what I'm about and what I teach. And I'm so glad you're here. Some of you, you've been consuming my stuff for a long time. You've been binging the podcast. You read the book. You print out the sheets every event. And maybe you're finally ready to work the next few steps with me. So listen, after this event, you're probably going to wonder, okay, I have the plan. How do I stay consistent? How do I work sustainably? What does it look like to keep going? And I'm going to talk to you about what it looks like to work with me long-term in my lifetime coaching program called the Social Selling Academy. I have a lot of students here. What's super fun is this event. We have it recorded and it drops in our Academy member portal. They all have access to it, but many of the students still chose to be here because they love being a part of the live experience. They love encouraging people, and they still love getting value. So I'm going to be talking about that at the end of our time together. I'm going to be giving a special announcement about the Academy. So if you are somebody that has been on the fence and you've been thinking about joining the Academy, you're not going to want to miss it. And I'm going to answer all of your questions, okay? So you can expect that. But in the next 2 days together, we're going to really be focusing on the plan, the strategy, and the formula. That way you're not surprised at the end being like, oh, wait, she's talking about the Academy? Of course I am, because I want you to have sustainable long-term results. Okay, so let's again focus on the plan for today. So what we're going to be doing is, how I've broken this up is, today is all about treating your business as a non-negotiable this summer. We're going to look at the summer, and you're going to take everything you have planned this summer, the vacations, the big activities, the events, the summer things, maybe even things where you're like, okay, well, my kids have cheer camp and, bike camp and mountain bike camp, and I'm just chauffeuring between 15 million day camps this year. Or, hey, we're living out of an RV for 45 days this summer, so how am I going to work my business? We're going to solve for that today. And then tomorrow, because I made you a promise. I made you the promise that I was going to show you how to work this business effectively and simply to move it forward, to keep it forward moving all summer long, so that you're not starting over in August. You're not feeling like you have to wake your business up, so you're not overwhelmed come Labor Day. I made you a promise that I'm going to show you how to work your business in as little as 60 minutes a day, so that you can get the work done and get back to your life and be fully present with your family, your loved ones, get to the bike camp, do the road trip, do the RV thing. I want you to do it. But it doesn't happen by default. You have to have an intentional plan for the summer if you wish to have success this summer. So here's a couple of things that we're going to cover today. And if you haven't been to my events, I love flip charts, mostly because I like to speak to anybody that, works with, audio and visual so that you can learn in all different ways. So here's what we're going to be visiting today. We're going to be visiting your intentions, your decisions, the strategy, and then crafting your plan. Your plan is customizable to you because every family, every individual has different things going on this summer. It's not a one size fits all, but I'm going to walk you through how to have a plan that you feel like you can easily commit to, follow through, and implement. Because listen, this is just pieces of paper unless you have a plan for how you're going to implement, follow through, and stay consistent with it this summer. I'm literally, and then this is tomorrow's worksheet, between the two of these, you're going to have everything you need. Literally, you're going to have the roadmap and the plan and the strategy to get through this summer. This is actually, it's so funny. A lot of times in my trainings, I talk a lot about mindset, honestly, because mindset is 90% of the formula for having success in any business. 10% strategy, 90% mindset. But this event is probably the most tactical, most action-oriented, most game plan-oriented I have ever done, because I really wanted you to feel like, hey, I can do this. I want you to leave the event with one thought. I got this. I can do this. Totally possible for me. Pick one of those thoughts. That's 3 thoughts, but pick one that most resonates with you. So we have to talk about your intentions for the summer and why it's important for you to stay consistent in this business. I want to get back to, you might have your why for why you joined your social selling business. I'd actually love to see in the comments, because I can see them right here. I'd love for you to share with me why you got into social selling. What's your big why? You were probably asked this right when you joined, but what did you say is your big why? I'd love to see it in some of the comments. There's a little bit of lag, so I'm waiting. And also, by the way, I finally caved and someone got me a Stanley Cup as a gag gift. And they really are great. Okay, don't want to go back to the 9 to 5. I want to stay home with the kids. I want to be home and be present with my kids through all stages of their lives. Extra income and ability for growth. Love that. Change financial trajectory for my family. Yes, serving others, helping other people find freedom in their lives. I think a lot of times what I hear most people say, okay, here it is again. I want the freedom to be home with my kids, more time, more income, extra income for kids' activities, and security to never worry about money again. Retiring my husband. Yes, getting in a better financial position. Okay, so these are all really great whys. And what's so interesting is this why I want to be really present with my children. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have intention, what you're going to find yourself doing this summer is you're going to use your why as a reason to not stay focused in your business, to not show up, to not do the work, to not do the hard things. Because listen, you're going to leave this event super motivated. You're going to be like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm finally committed. I'm ready. And then I can set my clock to it. I can set my watch to it about 15 to 20 days after the event. Something in life is going to throw you a curveball. I got COVID 3 days before this event. I feel great now, but life is always going to throw you a curveball, and you have to have a plan. You have to have intention, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to have a business that operates by default instead of intention. Default is when you're waiting for an hour a day to show up for you to work your business. When you're waiting for things to calm down, when you're waiting for your kids to, not be as busy, to be quiet. And honestly, listen, I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. And they were cooped up for the last 5 days, and it's been chaos. And so and we're going to work through that too. If you're like, Kristen, you don't understand. I have, 2 twins under the age of 2. I got it. We're going to solve for it. But it's so important that you come back to, you have your why. I want to be more present with my kids, but I actually want to go even more on a micro level. And I want to ask you, why is it important for you to work this summer? Why is it important for you to stay consistent and commit to 1 hour a day over the next 6 to 8 weeks between now and Labor Day weekend? Why? Why have you decided to come to this event? We're getting away from the big why, and I want to bring you into a more micro why that it's going to compel you to stay in the work over the next 8 weeks. Because here's the thing. When you are working sustainably, when you're working with serving your audience, and when you're showing up every day, especially in social selling, when you're posting and sharing about the product and sharing about the business, you very rarely get overnight results. It takes 60 to 90 days to build momentum, to build trust with your audience, and to cash in on all the trust you're building with your audience. The reason why I positioned this event to be at the timing it is because come Labor Day, this is when most people, that's when you guys are having your huge like back to school sales, your Black Friday sales, your holiday sales. I think a lot of you, Q4 is your highest sales quarter all year long. But if you want high Q4 sales, that is completely contingent upon how you show up in Q3. And Q3 is July 1st through September. And that's when most people phone it in. That's when most people say, I'm traveling. I can't. People are too busy. People don't want to buy this summer. And we're going to solve for some of your mindset stories that you have tomorrow when we actually talk about the income producing activity that you're going to do each day. But this is why I'm trying to get you to buy in on why it's so important that you show up consistently 1 hour a day. Listen, I'm going to even say not even 1 hour every day, 1 hour 5 days a week, 5 out of 7 days a week, because I told you I was going to treat you as business owners. I was going to treat you as people who wanted to treat this business as a job. And maybe up until today, you never have. Maybe it's been a business or a hobby of convenience up until this point. And listen, you can make pretty good money having a hobby, but it's not consistent money. It's not life-changing money if you are showing up with a hobby mindset. So if you want to have massive momentum. Listen, if you don't want to feel like you have to wake up your audience and you don't have to feel like you start over and that exhausting feeling come the last 90 days of the year, that's why everyone goes crazy the last 90 days of the year, because they feel like they have to wake up their business. But if you do the exact things I'm going to teach you today and tomorrow, you're going to be reaping massive harvest in Q4. But the mindset you need over Q3 is about building trust. It's about keeping your business in order and keeping it in a healthy, sustainable pace. And if you've been with me any period of time, the thing I always teach is sustainability over speed, because speed will exhaust you. It will cause burnout. And I see people do it all the time. They get really excited. They become a frenzy of Tasmanian devil, income producing activity. They're just a flurry of chaos. And then, it might last for a month and then they're burnt out. That's when they're telling themselves, I need to take a break. I need to take a step back. I need more time with my family. And I will tell you, if you need to take a break from your business, if you feel like it's taking away from your family, if you feel like it's taking away from your life, it's not the business. It's how you are showing up in your business. It tells me you aren't operating with sustainability. You aren't operating from a place where you're like, I can hold on to this momentum for years because I've implemented this and integrated this into my life in a sustainable way. If you can learn to work this business sustainably, listen, I'm this convinced. If you can learn to show up sustainably all summer long, you can show up for your business any time of year, no matter what obstacles life is throwing at you. This is a life skill. This is a business skill. And what's so interesting is a lot of you come to this business model for flexibility, because you're like, I want to be able to work my hours. I don't want to report to a job. I want to be able to work around nap time or vacations. But flexibility does not mean flexible does not equal negotiable when it comes to your success. I want to flesh that out a little bit. Some of you say like use flexibility against yourself. Being like, okay, well, it's okay if I don't show up today because I don't have to clock in. No one's calling in on me. I can choose, because you are your own boss in this, you can choose to not show up today. That flexibility of hours is different than deciding I can be flexible with when I choose to work my business, but I don't negotiate the fact that I do work my business. Does that make sense? Where you're saying it's not a negotiable that I show up for myself and for my business. What is negotiable or what is flexible is the hours or how I do that and how I show up in my life. Just because it's flexible doesn't mean it's negotiable. And we're going to talk about that more. We're also going to visit your decisions for this summer. We're going to talk about your activities, your weekly activities, your daily activities. We're going to plan the fun. You're like, wait, what? We're going to plan the fun in this event? Yes, because if we're not having fun, why bother? Why bother doing this business if you're miserable in your life? You should be having fun. And we're going to figure out how to bring joy back into your business, because when you're having fun, guess what? You stick with it. You stay consistent, okay? Then we're going to create a strategy so that you can solve for any hurdles, any obstacles, anything that could get in the way of your 60 minutes a day. And if you're like, Kristen, it's impossible for me to do 60 minutes a day, I got you. We're going to solve for 2 30-minute segments. I even have in the worksheet tomorrow, I even created a 30-minute, I literally called it the Hot Mess Express plan. Like, listen, if all you have is 30 minutes, do these things. It keeps the business moving forward and it's still needle pushing activities, okay? All right. And then we're going to craft your plan. Okay. So your intentions, we've kind of already talked about it. We're getting back to why is it important for you personally, you as an individual, why is it important for you to make your business a non-negotiable this summer? Why is it important for you to be doing this? Okay? Future focus. So again, I was kind of talking about positioning you for Q4 sales and really reaping the harvest and building momentum now. The reason why I want you to have future focus is because what I'm giving you is a sustainable growth plan. You're not going to see, I don't want you to come out of this and expect like, oh, I'm going to blow up my paycheck by $5,000 a month. I'm going to hit the top of my company comp plan because I do this. That is setting you up for unreasonable expectations. And what happens when you put out 5 posts, there's no comments, there's no likes, and no purchases, and you've told yourself, my business is going to explode. Well, now you're going to sit and wallow in defeat and tell yourself, it's not working. I should just get back to the pool. I don't know why I did this. This is so hard. Instead, I want you to be future focused, being like, it's okay. I'm building my audience. I'm building trust. I know 60 to 90 days, I'm going to harvest the fruit. You have to be future focused more than present focused, because present focused, when you're thinking about the results you're seeing today, how often have you negotiated with your business priorities because what you see today isn't moving fast enough? It's not speedy or sexy or fun enough. You're not seeing enough results, and you phone it in because of what you're seeing at present, because you've lost sight of the future. You must have a future focus when you have this plan. I don't want you to sit there thinking about all the sales you're going to make this summer. Listen, I promise you, you're going to make sales this summer. But I want you to be thinking of, I'm doing this for my future business. I'm doing this for the Q4 sales that I know are coming my way. I'm doing this because I deserve to show up for myself. I'm doing this because I deserve to take myself seriously for maybe once in my life, right? So you have to have the future focus. Last, you have to set the attention right now. Is this a business or is this a hobby? I've told you from the very beginning, from the first minute I went live, I said, listen, I've created this live event for business owners, people that are like, yeah, I'm ready to have a business and I'm ready to be paid like a business owner and I'm ready to have a business paycheck. I'm ready to take myself seriously. Everything I'm giving you is for a business owner. Hobby? I'm glad you're here for the party. This is just a party for you. And hey, if you want to show up when you feel like it, all right, great. Love it. But a hobby mindset does not create life-changing results. Period. I'm not here with you because I decided, you know what sounds like a fun hobby is being a coach. I'm like, do you know what sounds like an amazing career is coaching people that I love and helping them get results. And I started from day one. This is a career. This is a business. I show up for myself. Listen, you're in my chapter 20. I think we have more than 12,000 people registered for this event. It's easy to show up for 12,000 people, but I was committed to show up for one person in the beginning. I was committed to posting when nobody liked, nobody commented, nobody shared, and nobody was buying for a whole year. That's a business mindset saying, I could go a whole year without somebody buying from me and I'm still going to stay with it. I'm still going to keep going. I love that. Someone said a hobby costs money. Darn right it does. A hobby is something you put money into. A hobby is something you pick up when it feels convenient at your leisure. Okay? All right. Let's talk about some decisions. And I'm going to pull up the worksheet for this. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be thinking of literally everything you have planned this summer. What your big activities? What do you have going on? I want you to sit down and think, okay, we're doing a road trip. We're going to Disney World. We're doing a family reunion. We have a wedding in Wisconsin. We're finally going to California. We're doing all these things. I want you to get it all there. Every single date, write down the big activities, okay? The ones that you have planned in advance. If you're like, well, we don't have it planned already, it's okay. I got you. We're going to keep going. I also want you to think of what weekly fun do you want to have? Do you want to do, for me growing up, I grew up in California, and every Friday we would wake up at 8 a.m. and we would make our sandwiches, we'd pack the cooler, and we'd go to the beach, and we'd have a beach day every Friday. So if it was my mom or if it was me and I lived near the beach and I wanted beach day Fridays, I would put it in my weekly fun. Every Friday, I want to be at the beach. Every Wednesday, I want to be at the pool. I also want you to think of your daily rhythms. What do you want to do with your kids, your family, your friends? If you're like, well, daily rhythms, I really value my workout time. I'm putting that in my daily rhythms. Well, it's really important that we do some preschool or homeschool activities, or we do a reading hour with my kids. Get it there. I want you to write it all down. Now, before y'all start to look at this list and think, oh my God, I have no time this summer. This list is not meant to overwhelm you. The list is to help inform you of the summer you have ahead of you. I want you to put zoo days, have fun with this list and think, damn, I'm going to have a fantastic summer with my family and my friends. I want you to think that. And I want you to look at your daily rhythms as well. Think about all of it, solve for all of it. Lastly, I want you to put wish lists. What would be fun for me to do this summer? What do I want? What's the big thing that we haven't made plans yet? We haven't booked tickets yet. We haven't done the thing yet, but this is what I want to do. And I want you to put that in your wish list too, because now what we're solving for is we're solving for your most ideal summer that's filled with all the things you want to do. So first, we're putting in the fun. And if you're like, wait, what? We're putting in the fun first? Yes. Because again, I promised you that you didn't have to pick between having fun and working your business this summer. So get it all there. Okay? So that's going to be in part of your worksheet. You're going to be doing it later today after this live. You're going to be doing the plan. Okay? I have also asked you in this, I've asked you what are some unplanned activities that might come up. Just get creative. Be like, and if you need help referencing that, go back to last summer and be like, oh, what's some last minute things we did last summer? Just to use it as an example of things to pop up. Denise, you better do some fun things. Someone's like, I don't do fun things. I'm like, maybe that's your homework. Do something fun, right? Okay. So that's your decisions. All right. Next is the strategy. This is the most important part. This is the whole reason we're doing this is because it's one thing for me to say, work your business in an hour a day. And all of you are like, yay, I'll find an hour, or yay, I'll find 30 minutes. But again, what you don't do with intention becomes default. It becomes passive. And a hobby is something where you're like, sure, an hour when I find it. But a business owner is like, I am intent on choosing where my hour is every single day. And I'm going to decide. It's literally being intentional ahead of time, saying, okay, where can I carve out an hour and how can I plan for this instead of just haphazardly? How many of you have haphazardly said, I'm going to work my business in 30 minutes a day, and that's all you ever did about it? You just said, I'm going to work my business in 30 minutes a day. Show of hands. Show of hands. How many of you said, yeah, I'm going to do my IPAs. Yeah. And that's all. You didn't put it in your calendar. You kind of do it by the flying by the seat of your pants each day. When I get to it, instead of, I'm going to choose 1 hour for myself. Here's what I'm going to offer to this. If you've likely been told, and I feel like we're moving away from this finally. I hope so. This concept of working in the nooks and crannies of your day is a no. That's hobby. That is a hobby mindset. And I think at the time when that was first presented, it was presented for busy people. Like, oh, it's okay. You don't have an hour, just find 5 minutes. You don't have this, just find 30 minutes. And here's going to be my argument against why working in the nooks and crannies is actually a disservice to you. Here's why. When you're picking up your phone and a little bit here and a little bit here, what's happening is when you're with your children, when you're with your family, when you're with your friends, suddenly you're disappearing into this zone where you're answering, you're messaging somebody, you're responding to this, and suddenly you might be physically present, but mentally you're somewhere else. And this might be why some of you have resentful family and friends about your business. They would be far less resentful and probably a lot more open to your business if they didn't see you with your head down at happy hour, just doing your nooks and crannies work. But this is what you've been taught, because that to me is operating on a default. That's operating reactively in your day instead of operating proactively. Here's the thing. When you have a plan, when you have set aside time to work, it allows your brain to fully do the task-oriented activities. And here's what happens psychologically in your brain. Once the list is done, your brain understands I have closed those tasks. So now we're fully present in your business, and now we can put your phone down and be fully present with your loved ones. Be fully present at the pool. Be fully present at Disneyland. Be fully present in all of these things. Right? So doing things in the nooks and crannies actually adds more stress. It makes you less present. And I'm even going to say a lot of you struggle with mom guilt. And I will say working in the nooks and crannies is one of the leading causes of mom guilt, because you're somewhere else. You're on the floor playing with your kids, and all you're thinking about is, okay, I got to write that post. I got to do that thing. I got to send that message. Did I get those samples out? I'm not sure if I got those samples out. And then you're beating yourself up for mentally having that dialogue and not being able to be fully present with your kids. This is what happens when you don't have a plan. This is what happens when you're not intentional. It mentally exhausts you. Of course you're exhausted because your brain is doing that all day long. What it's trying to do, listen, when there's no plan, what your brain is trying to do is hold on to the mental list. And all day long while you're doing other things, your brain's like, okay, yep, but I got to retain that information. Can't let her forget. Can't let her forget. And what that actually does is that causes burnout and fatigue. And that's why a lot of you are like, I'm exhausted by my business. Listen, you are not exhausted by your business. You are exhausted by the constant mental narrative of your business running your brain for you, of you constantly being mentally preoccupied. And that is what happens when you don't have a plan. That's why people burn out. Burnout is not caused by the activity itself. Burnout is caused by how you approach the activity itself. It starts by how you are showing up in your business. Of course, it's exhausting when your brain is going 24/7, but that's what your brain does when it doesn't have a plan. When it doesn't have, listen, because when you've accomplished your plan for the day and you're with your kids and your brain's like, hey, wait, you can say, oh, yep, I hear you, brain, but we already accomplished that. We got that done. Wow. Whew, feels great. Now I can be fully present. Do you see how important this is? If you do this, if you have a plan, if you have a strategy, I promise you, your mental exhaustion from your business will become a non-issue. You're only mentally exhausted because you're trying to hold it all together, work in the nooks and crannies, be a present parent, fly by the seat of your pants, because how you've been trained is as a hobby, as a little side gig, as a little side hustle, and you deserve more. Your business deserves a lot more respect than you calling it some cute side gig. And honestly, when you introduce yourself and say, hey, I have a little side gig, it's like, don't take me too seriously. I'm just over here doing a little cute thing on the side. It's not cute. Life-changing money is not cute. Setting up your family for a different financial legacy isn't cute. It's serious. It's real. And that's why you're here. Amen? I'll take y'all to church today. All right? So here's some of the strategy when you have your summer plans, okay? You have your big activities, and here's what you're going to do. Stand by. Okay, at the end of your packet, you have this little printout. And each week, and we'll talk about this too, you're going to write down your big activities or daily activities. It's going to be there so you know it's coming, okay? And you're going to kind of write these down. Here's the strategy for carving out the 1 hour a day to make sure it's non-negotiable and it happens, okay? First, communication is vital. I want you to figure out, who do I need to communicate with? If you're sitting down and you have this beautiful, elaborate plan and you're so excited for it, you've got your highlighters, you've got your calendars, you've got all things figured out, but you have failed to communicate this with your other investor who is your partner. If you're married, it's your partner. And suddenly you could have this great plan, but if you have not communicated it with your partner, they could have their own agenda, their own things, and suddenly it feels like they're rubbing up or going against your business hours, and then your mind is translating that as, oh, he's not supportive of my business. It's not that they're not supportive, it's that you haven't communicated clearly, this is my business, these are my business hours, and here's how we're going to do it, and here's those things. Now, some of you are like, Kristen, my partner, too busy. It's impossible. There's no way I can rely on my partner for my business. First, don't make the assumption you can always make a powerful ask. Secondly, there's a couple things I've solved for in your packet. I've given you some creative ideas. If you're like, where's the printout? It's the digital files in the Facebook group, okay? So you're going to communicate clearly. Who do you need to communicate with? Do you need to communicate with a spouse? Do you need to communicate with a babysitter, a nanny, a daycare provider, a parent, a friend? Who do you need to, your children? Do you need to communicate with your children? I mean, hey, I understand that you can't sit down and talk to toddlers and say, now listen, they don't care. They just want to know if Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is on. But communication-wise, you have to think about, who do I need to communicate clearly so that everyone's on board with this business, okay? Next is delegating and outsourcing. You have to figure out, okay, what might I need to delegate in order to ensure this 1 hour per day happens? How do I need to go about that? And in this printout, I actually created a creative delegation worksheet. And it's just to give you some ideas, especially if you have kids that have to be supervised, they can't be off on their own, or maybe you have kids that are going off to camps. Can you navigate a carpool? Can you do a kid swap? There was a time, and I think it's important you know this. When I was starting up my business, I was working full time. I had a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and my husband was gone in really inconsistent hours. So I had to get so creative for what my work time had to look like. And some of you are single parents, and I see you. And I think you have to decide, am I going to use this circumstance against myself? Or am I going to decide to be creative? Maybe I will need to be more creative than others, but it's worth it because I am worth it. My future is worth it. My children, they're worth it. I can do it. So there's a couple things. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I'm just going to give you a couple ideas. And it's a couple things I did. For me, there was a time when I found, a 9th grader, especially during the summer, who wanted to, work a couple hours a week, where I'm like, I just need 1 hour. That's all I need. I just need 1 hour of someone to entertain my kids, make sure nobody chokes, make sure everyone stays alive so that I can get these tasks done. And listen, 9th graders, they're not over there saying, excuse me, minimum wage is $15 an hour. Where's my due? They're just happy to make some money. They're just happy to do it. So for me, I was just like, okay, I'm going to get in a 14-year-old to come and hang out with my kids in one area of the house. I'm going to tell my kids, mommy's busy, or I'm going to leave the house, go to Panera, whatever it is. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I didn't have parents nearby. So I was like, okay, I don't have a parent. I don't have people that would do this for free. So I'm going to get really creative. And I'm like, is it worth $10 Listen, is it worth me spending $10, $15 to have someone come and watch my kids for an hour for me to do activities that will generate hundreds of dollars an hour later? It's, again, you're thinking as a business owner. And a lot of times I want to invite mom guilt to not take precedence in this decision to delegate. It doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you bad. And again, I think as moms, we get really caught up in, I want to spend as much time as possible with my children, but your children want quality hours with you, not just quantity. Like, listen, I want you to have quantity, but quality is so important to being fully present. And listen, if they have a super uber stressed out mom because mom guilt won't let her ask for help, are you really creating better quality of presence of time with your children? And I think it's important you hear this because I'm a mom. I understand. I went through that. Okay. And also my kids did not nap. Working in nap time never happened. I had to get super creative. So I have ideas here, but I'm inviting you to get creative. If you want it bad enough, if your business is a non-negotiable, you're going to be like, come hell or high water, I'm going to figure this out. And for me, I remember I had to put a snack bin together with here's juice boxes, here's Nutri-Grain bars, here's bottles of water, take your pick. And maybe 60 minutes is not possible at this time. I know, do 30 minutes. And I'm going to offer this to you. If you have exhausted every single option during the daytime hours, it might be a season where you wake up earlier. It might be a season where you're like, I'll wake up an hour early before the kids. Now, I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Kristen, it's like my kids have a sixth sense. If I'm awake early, their eyes pop open early. It's okay. It could be a quiet morning hour. You can teach your kids hey, this is what happens during quiet time, during work time. Kids are incredibly resilient and so are you, but I'm offering you, please get creative. And again, don't allow stories of I'm not a good mom, I'm not a present mom, it's bad that I have to ask for help, I shouldn't have to ask for help, I have to do it all. I'm like, no. Moms who have businesses, they don't do it all. We learn to outsource and delegate so that we can be fully present with our family and our loved ones, okay? Okay. Again, as problems and obstacles, you have to solve for what's any problem that I might encounter in this 1 hour I spend with my children. What if someone gets sick? What if someone throws up? What if suddenly I have to go and pick someone up? It's solving for, okay, what's my plan if it all goes to hell in a handbasket? What's my plan? Okay? You have to solve for them ahead of time. Oops, as I'm knocking my headphone. Okay? Lastly is non-negotiables. One of the things I ask you, again, it's in the worksheets. You can print it out later. Don't stress, guys. Calm down. Stay with me. Okay? I ask you about non-negotiables. Again, this business is flexible, but are you treating flexible as negotiable? Are you saying, well, I can not show up today, but again, where do you think your business is when you've said, I can afford to not show up today 15 out of the 30 work days? Your results are going to compound, and it's probably not going to be the results you're hoping for, okay? Okay, here's what I'm going to offer. There's a lot of advice in the comments about here's what you could do with your kids. Here's what I could do with my kids. I'm just going to offer you to circle back, come back here. We've got more to talk about. There's lots of ideas. I love there's great ideas, but I want you to come back to why are you here? Okay? Everyone has circumstances that can make finding an hour a day difficult if you choose to let it be difficult. If you choose to let the circumstance dictate your business hours. The moment you let your circumstances dictate your business hours will never happen. I can't tell you how often people say, well, I had every intention of working today, but then life happened. My neighbor came over, my mom came over, I got a call, I didn't know what to do. But it's okay, life is going to happen. How are you going to solve for it? Literally ask yourself, if life happens, how am I going to solve for it? Life is going to happen. It's not if, it's when, right? I didn't know I was going to get COVID right before this event, but here we are and we're okay. But I had to sit down and be okay, if for any reason I can't present, what are we going to do? And I had a million different ideas. Don't worry, I wasn't going to leave you high and dry. Okay. So that's the strategy. This is the plan. Okay, this is how it's going to go. You're going to have your weekly plan, and this is what I suggest you do. Again, you're a business owner. I'm going to encourage you to sit down as a business owner and think as a business owner. I want you to decide, like, you're going to do, I don't care if it's like a Sunday night, maybe first thing Monday morning. I would encourage you, that's where you're going to sit down and just maybe take 15 to 20 minutes, and you're going to look at your list of your big activities, your weekly activities, all those things, and you're going to write down on your weekly plan the big things you have planned that week, what days they fall on, the activities that you want, and you're going to put it down each day of the week. There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And each day you're going to find your hour. You're going to say, okay, well, Monday, I know that the kids were at the pool, and then we're doing bike camp, and then, I'm working. So I know the only time I can do this is 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening, and I'm going to write it down. Write it down. Okay? So you're going to write these down a week ahead of time. Okay? In the worksheet, I want you to expect interruptions, because some of you, if you're like, okay, I'm going to work while my kids are home, I want you to expect interruptions. How am I going to handle it when a kid comes barging in and asks, if they can have more watermelon and if I can chop it up for them? How am I going to handle that? Oh, I'm going to have fresh cut watermelon that's ready for them by the time I sit down to do my work. What is every possible thing my child could want? How can I communicate ahead of time what's acceptable, what's not acceptable? When can they interrupt me? When can they not interrupt me? But also, listen, your children are going to have more respect for the time you're asking off when they know that when mom's done with work or dad is done with work, that you're truly done and you're ready to be with them. My kids know, like, when mom's done with work, mom's done. Mom's home. Mom's excited. Mom's excited to see them. They're excited to be with me. They know at the end of my hour, at the end of my business time, mom's here. Mom's present. Okay, I got this. Everyone's cracking up about the watermelon, because it's true. I have kids. I'm telling you. Okay? Expect interruptions. For me, my daughter, when I tried to work in nap times, I just remember, I was just tired of getting angry, because I would get angry. You know what happens when we don't expect interruptions? We get resentful. We get mad. We take it out on our kids. We get mad at them, and then we feel guilty. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I lost my cool. I'm such a bad parent. Now we're spiraling in mom guilt. And because we're spiraling in mom guilt, we're not posting about the business. And then we're saying, maybe I shouldn't do this business, right? Right? Is this not what happens? But when we expect interruptions, we're able to approach them with grace and compassion, not just for the interruption itself, the child, the parent, the phone call, but for ourselves. And say, okay, yeah, interruptions, good thing I solved for it, and here's what I'm going to do about it, and here's how I'm going to solve it. And I'm okay, right? And so for me, when I had a daughter, I kept planning nap time work hours, and my daughter we called her the no nap ninja. And it was I remember just getting so frustrated and feeling so defeated until I finally realized, okay, so what if she never naps? How am I going to solve for this? Instead of expecting her to nap, instead of my plans being contingent upon her napping, I'm going to have to plan differently. I'm going to have to show up differently. I'm going to need more grace, and we're going to need to do it differently, okay? So I'm going to expect interruptions, and then when you look at your weekly plan, again, ask yourself, who do I need to communicate with? What phone calls do I need to make? Who do I need to delegate to? What do I need to get in place? This is incredibly strategic. We're getting really into the nitty gritty, because I truly want you to have zero excuses. Zero excuses. And if you are still holding on to an excuse, I would go back to visit your why and your intention. I would go back to visit, okay, your why must not be compelling enough if your excuse is stronger than your why. We all have reasons. We all have things that come up that feel important, that feel like it's urgent. And if we don't treat our business as a non-negotiable, we will always negotiate. And you're not just negotiating with your business, you're negotiating with your future. You're negotiating the things you say you want. And you're sending this very quiet, subliminal message to your brain. It doesn't matter. My future can wait. It doesn't matter. My future can wait. And when your brain starts to believe that, now we're eroding self-trust. Now you're creating the story, I don't show up for myself. I make promises and I don't follow through on them. Man, I suck. And then you just sit there in a pity fest doing absolutely nothing instead of like, you know what? So today didn't go as planned. What am I going to do about it? Today didn't go as planned. I sure as hell aren't going to wait until Labor Day. I sure as hell I'm not going to wait until Monday to start over. I'm going to start tomorrow first thing in the morning, and I'm going to revisit my plan, revisit my obstacles, and I'm going to go back to this because I matter, my kids matter, my future matters, and I'm going to take myself seriously because that matters. I told you I'd treat you as business owners today. I told you I wasn't going to pull any punches. Because I want this for you. I want you to have no excuses when you leave this event. I want you to feel empowered. Okay? Listen, when you do this, imagine the narrative you start to have for yourself when you're like, I made a plan and I stuck with it. I showed up today. Even when I've had 2 weeks of posting and not a single person buying, I still show up because my word to myself matters, because my future matters, because I'm future focused, because I'm not showing up for the results I see today. I'm showing up for the results in the future. That is a business owner saying, I'm still showing up. I don't see the fruit of my labor yet, but I'm going to show up. Remember, your why has to be compelling enough to have you future focused and have you stay in the work every day, even when the results aren't coming. Because a lot of you are like, hey, listen, it's easy to stay in the work when the results are everywhere. When the customers are coming and everyone's liking and commenting and loving your stuff and sharing and you're going viral on Instagram, of course it's easy to show up. But are you willing to show up when it's quiet, when it feels thankless, when it feels like nobody's commenting or liking anything, when nobody's purchasing? Would you still show up? Or are you only going to show up conditionally when it feels good, when it's fun? This is why enjoying your life, enjoying your summer is so important to do outside of your business, because sometimes business is hard. Sometimes business can feel frustrating. Sometimes business isn't sexy. It's not speedy. It's not cool. It's hard and it's gritty. But when that's hard and it's gritty, if you have something to look for, if you're loving your life on the side, if you're being present, if you're doing the pool days, if you're taking care of yourself, I promise you're going to show up in the gritty right here. But it's really hard to show up in the gritty and the hard if you aren't living your life and loving your life over here. That's why people burn out and that's why they quit. Because they're like, well, put my whole life on hold, and for what? Haven't watched TV and I don't even know how long. Haven't read a fictional book. Haven't done any of my hobbies. Haven't done anything I enjoyed in 2 years. And it's hard. So of course you're going to say, well, screw this because I miss my life. And if you do what I'm teaching you over the next 2 days, I promise you'll never have to feel like you're choosing between loving your life and working your business ever again. By the way, that's what this whole book is about. That's what my book Pivot to Purpose is about. It's all about building a life you love while showing up purposefully and meaningfully in your business, right? Again, you can pick that up anywhere that we sell books. Okay, so you're going to visit your weekly plan. Okay, that's not it. Last thing, this is so important. You're going to have your weekly plan, and then I have something called the 24-hour rule. Every night, the night before your day, you need to touch back to the plan and ask yourself, does this still work? Has there been a surprise? Did somebody call me and ask if we can do coffee tomorrow? Is there any changes to the plan 24 hours in advance? That way you're looking at the plan and say, does this still work for tomorrow, or do I need to make an adjustments? Do I need to communicate with somebody else? Oh, is there a new interruption? Do I need to delegate? So again, you have your weekly plan. This is what I've carved. This is the hour or the 2 30-minute segments I have carved out 5 of the 7 days this week. And then I'm going to visit my 24-hour rule. Here's what I'm going to offer. There's a reason why I say plan to do this 5 out of 7 days a week, because something's going to happen one of these days. One of those days, something's going to happen. Life's going to get crazy. You're going to be like, I don't know where my day went. It might be because you struggled with a negotiable, but also there might have been an emergency. Something might go wrong. Okay. You now have 2 buffer days to put that in. You now have, you're like, okay, you know what? Wednesday totally fell apart, But you know what? Saturday, I can make this up on Saturday. I know exactly where I'm going to make it up. I don't want to miss anything with my kids. I'm going to do it before everyone's up for breakfast. I'm going to ask my husband to handle the kids. Like, I will be out before we're flipping pancakes at 8 a.m. But I'm going to be up. Do I want to be up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday or 6 a.m. on a Saturday? No, it's not my favorite, but this matters. I matter, and I'm doing it. This is why I say plan 5 out of 7 days a week. That's a job. You guys, it's not a bad thing to work a job, okay? I want you to be paid like a job. I want you to make great money at this. But it means you got to clock in. It means you got to show up for yourself. It means you got to take yourself seriously. Do you guys see how different this is than just like, who's ready to do their 60-minute IPAs? Me! And that's all. That's all. You just wake up and you're like, at some point today, I'll do my IPAs. At some point today, I'll do my task list. At some point today, I'll post. Like, do you see how having a plan, having a strategy, having intentions, having a compelling why is so important? Listen, I could have very easily just been like, okay, we could have just skipped right to tomorrow and been like, here's the 60-minute formula. And listen, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do in the 60 minutes. You're going to be like, wait, what? Yeah, because I don't want you confused. I want you to feel super empowered and be like, I know exactly what to do. But notice how much intentionality we have had to put around making the 1 hour, 5 days a week, non-negotiable. Do you see how it's not just saying, yeah, I'm going to take myself seriously 1 hour a day, woohoo. It's like, no, this is what it means to make this non-negotiable. This is how I fully show up for myself. This is what it means to be a non-negotiable business owner. This is what it means to take myself seriously. This is what it means to have a plan. Some of you are like, what's IPAs? Income producing activities, right? Okay. So my friends, listen. Ooh, that's loud. That's super loud. So listen, what you're going to do today is you're going to go through this packet. You're going to go through this printout. Again, it's in the downloaded sections of the Facebook group. It's in the files. Don't worry. Also, I just want to say too, if you have friends that want to be in here, we are closing this group tomorrow night from new registrants. Obviously, people are going to be trickling in who purchased last week that are going to be trickling into the group, but we are closing new registrants tomorrow night. So tonight, you're going to go through the plan. You're going to write down like your dream summer, daily activities, the habits. What do I want? What's the fun stuff that we're going to be doing? You're going to be visiting the non-negotiables. Again, if I could just beat this into all your brains today, just because it's flexible doesn't mean it's negotiable. That could be our mantra today, okay? You're also going to go through, I would encourage you to do create your weekly plan this week. Do it this week. Start now. Start today. Don't wait till next Monday. Listen, if you're already telling yourself, well, we're halfway through Monday, I'll revisit this next Monday. Nope, you can do it right now. You can create your plan Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can absolutely do that. But notice if your brain got sneaky with you and said, oh, well, it's Monday. We'll just have to wait until next Sunday. Why wait? I'm going to call you out right now. That's actually perfectionistic mentality. It's telling yourself it has to be the right day, the right time. I have to do it by the book on a Monday. She said on a Sunday, and I have to do it on a Sunday. I don't care when and how you do it, that you do it, right? Perfectionism is just sabotage wrapped in glitter. It's just a cute way of self-sabotaging yourself. Perfectionism never serves you, okay? I would encourage you, listen, the creative delegation, the ideas I gave you, it is not an exhaustive list of reasons. If you're like, Kristen, but what about this? But what about this? Listen, use your creative ideas, get clever, and remove any judgment or I can't ask that, I can't do that. People would never say yes to that. Remove the judgment and just put it all on paper and be like, well, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm willing to try. Are you willing to try? Are you willing to try and fail? Okay? Again, something that is super important, you're going to write down your summer why. It's not your big why, it's your summer why. Why is it important that I become a consistent business owner this summer? Why does it matter? What is a compelling reason for me to stay with this before all the sales start coming in, before people start buying from me, right? You have to have a bigger why before all the results are coming in. Tomorrow, we're going to be live, same place, same time. And tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching you the 60-day success formula. I'm going to give you the exact steps to be doing in the 60 minutes a day. And if you're like, wait, what? Really? I can only do this in 60 minutes a day? Yes, it will shock you. Students in my academy all the time, when they finally understand the activities that make money, move the business forward, and they get rid of all the stories they have and they just commit to the work, they're like, I'm making more working less than I ever have. And that's the goal I have for you tomorrow. So tomorrow, we'll be back here live, same place, same time. It was a blast serving you guys. Thank you for hanging with me. Super fun. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Bye.